Hello, hello. We are coming to you from a brand new location, as you can see. This will be a one-time thing, but I figured it would be kind of fun to be outside and record outside for this episode. I am currently at the lake with my family. So yeah, we're making it work. Everyone is out golfing today, and I am not a golfer when it comes to ball golf. I'll throw some discs and I will play disc golf, but I am not a golfer. So we are staying behind to record the episode today. I am coming to you in full lake mode. I have got my coffee, I've got my water, and I've got my wind mic on today because it's not super windy, but we do have a little bit of wind. So hopefully the sound will also be okay for this episode. But I really wanted to try and record outside if we could make that happen. I might pop my sunglasses on. We'll see. I tried to find a little shady spot for us to hang out in, but we'll see if it stays as shady as it is right now. I'm just going to hop right into the episode. I think I don't have much of a lead up to this one. I did talk a little bit about on my story having a guest episode to release this month, and that is going to be a little bit delayed. I ended up having way more footage than I expected to, and I'm going to be honest, I've been having quite a time editing because matching up the like visual when it's two people and not just me is quite a bit harder. I'm not gonna lie. And there's just so much footage that, there was pieces of the conversation that I wanted to copy paste and kind of like mix around because we would circle back to the same kind of topic and stuff like that. And the continuity is really tough. So I think moving forward, I might actually stick with just the audio for guest episodes and do visual episodes for my solos. And the reason for that, at least for now, is I don't have like a legitimate recording setup. We've seen what I've made to, or like how I've come to kind of figure out my locations. And if it's just myself, it's super easy to coordinate. I don't really have to worry about too much. I can just find a spot, pop myself down, and make it work. But it is definitely more of a challenge to do that with a guest, especially if it's someone that I'm not like super close with or don't know super well. Um, I want people to feel comfortable and not be like shoulder to shoulder and feel awkward or anything like that. So moving forward, I think guest episodes will just be audio, and I will still be releasing that guest episode that I posted about on my story. It's just going to be a little bit delayed because I want to make sure that I have all of the editing done properly and that everything is articulated well. And yeah, so I have abandoned the visuals for that episode. I have just been paying attention to the audio. I also think that, when I have a guest on, it's because I think that they have valuable information to share. And I would rather that be the focus than what we look like. So I think I like the idea, at least for now, of just releasing guest episodes as the. I don't know. I just had a text come through because I'm in charge of watching the smoker today. And I'm not sure if that shows up in the recording. I don't know if you heard that or not. We'll find out, I guess. I will have to pause occasionally to check that the smoker is working properly because this morning I was left in charge of it. And while I do know my way around a kitchen, I do not know my way around a smoker. And so, there's smoke coming from it. But I don't exactly know how it functions properly, and it was showing like an error message this morning. So we're doing some troubleshooting. I will have to pause this at some points just to like double check on it, which I'm actually probably going to do now. But back to the guest episodes, I think that moving forward until or if I end up getting some sort of like actual studio setup or something that's a little bit more comfortable where like two people can fit nicely and it's very like streamlined. If I decide at some point to take it to that like level, then I might be doing visuals for everyone. But I think for now, you and I can hang out visually. But if I have a guest, it's just easier for me at this point to be able to just do it audio only. That way, what we're talking about is the focus, not what we're looking like. And yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it for now. So that guest episode will still be coming. I am just working through all of the footage that we have and trying to like pick and put back together everything so that it's the best episode I can put out. And yeah, I'm going to pause really quickly because I would like to make sure that the smoker is working properly. It still needs the amount of time that we like originally planned, so I'm just hoping that that's not fucked up. So I will be right back. We're going to take a little pause and make sure that the smoker is working properly. Okay, we've moved a little closer just in case the sound isn't like super great. I'm trying to get myself kind of comfy, comfy, and also like showcase the lake behind me. It's very gray. It's looking very gray. It's not really giving the best view. Oh, there we go. There we go. There's the horizon. Yeah, the smoker is working, so that's good. Temperature is rising. We love to see it. I'm definitely like I have no idea how to use that kind of stuff, so I'm gonna have to keep checking it just to make sure that the temp is coming up to what it needs to be. But fingers crossed that the smoke will work as it's supposed to. Yeah, so I am just really gonna jump into the episode. I have had a crazy busy month. I know my last episode, I like literally just got to the end of the month and released the episode in time for it to be out, and it's probably going to be a similar thing with this episode. I'll probably have this out before the last day of the month because with it just being me, I'll be able to edit it a little bit easier, and I might, if I'm really lucky, be able to finish this recording, edit it, and like schedule everything to come out before everyone is home from golfing today. That is my goal. It's like, I think about 10 a.m. right now, and they'll probably be gone till about 2:30. So that should be plenty of time for me to handle all the things I need to with this episode. Hopefully we can get that out a little early. Maybe there'll still be 2 episodes for July. We'll see. That's probably a tall order because of all the editing and all the other things I have to do. But I'm hoping that maybe we can still get to 1 for sure, but 2 maybe. So yeah, I have had a very busy month. Typically, summer is quite busy at work, and I've also been very busy with house sitting and like trying to enjoy summer. We only get a couple of months here of like actually really nice weather, and even so, it's been pretty rainy and gray. It's also been crazy smoky because of all the forest fires that are happening here. So, we're taking it as we can. We're doing our best, but I've been really trying to be a lot more present and just enjoy the time that I have outside and like with my family. So I have tried to post a little bit more and be a little bit more present on my page. But I've also tried to be present in real life. So I'm kind of trying to find like what balance feels comfortable there for me because I still want to show up and provide content, but I don't want to feel obligated to do that. I want it to feel like I want to do that. We're not people pleasing over here, so unless it feels good and unless it feels aligned, I'm really just not interested in it. You'll probably see me looking around a bunch while I'm recording because there are so many birds here. And when I was younger, I used to be terrified of birds, partly because when I was young, someone told me about how smart crows are. And I don't know, the level of intelligence that they have is a little bit freaky. And I think that just kind of like leached into all birds because I was too young enough to like make the distinction. So they used to freak me out a little bit, but I don't know. There's something about like being in nature and being surrounded. Like it's constant like sing songs and little whistles and all the noises and stuff that they make. It's very peaceful out here. And so I'm trying, at least by the end, that's a squirrel. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I'm trying by the end of the week that we are here. I would love to have a bird land on or near me and become my friend. That's a goal for me. I'm overcoming my fear of birds, and I would love to make a bird friend while I'm here. If you follow my Instagram, you will have seen that we did have a unfortunate casualty. It was a bird casualty. Um, I have experienced that only one other time, and it was at home where I was living at the time. And that was awful. And once again here, it was also awful. I'm not going to go into details or anything like that, but a beautiful bird hit the window of the cabin, and we're still not totally sure why, because there is some stuff kind of like, I don't know. We were surprised that it flew into the window, just because like we had been hanging out in the room and stuff, and I'm sure, it saw the reflection of a tree or something like that in the window. But um, yeah, it was sad. It was our first day here, and that's how we like started the day. Essentially, it was very early in the morning. Um, just got some flips flying by. um, yeah, we had a little bird friend have a bit of an accident with the window, and so I don't know. I did the exact same thing that I did when I had a bird hit my window at home. And you got to give them a minute, make sure that they're either okay or not okay. Unfortunately, the bird at the lake was not okay. And I don't know, there's something I get. Nature is cruel. Circle of life is unfortunately cruel. And there is some point where you just got to let nature do its thing. Um, but I think that there's also room for some compassion in there. And so I think most people, if a bird hits their window, they're probably just going to like put it in a bag and put it in the garbage. Maybe some people will just leave it there for nature to like take its course also. Um, and that's okay. I don't love the garbage, but yeah, like letting nature take its course, it can provide a lot of food and whatever for other creatures. I don't think that's a bad thing. But we have a little dog here with us and stuff. So that's not really an option, just to like leave it there and let nature take its course. I'm sorry, there's like a fuzz or something. So yeah, so I don't like the idea of a garbage. I don't know. It just feels disrespectful to me. I don't like that. It doesn't matter what kind of a creature or animal or whatever it is. I don't think anything deserves to be dumped into a garbage. Um, but what I did was I safely put it in a bag and set it aside for a moment, basically until I could find a shovel. And luckily, my grandparents had one in the back of their truck, so I took the bag and I took the shovel and I took it down. We've got like there's some stairs over to my right here. You can kind of see them this way. They go down to like just a really tiny little like private beach kind of area. Um, and there's a bunch of weeds and stuff at one end. Like you can't actually like walk past. It kind of just like is this little bay. And it kind of like leads up into like foresty, weedy area. And so I went and I found a spot in the weeds and like somewhere that like people wouldn't be walking and stuff like that. And I dug a hole and I didn't like touch the bird at all because you shouldn't do that, just for like disease sake, but um, gently took the bird out of the bag, put it in the hole, buried it, and just like sat there for a minute. And I'm the kind of person that like I cry. I'm not afraid to cry. I think that part of like healing is crying and just like letting your body process emotions. And I'm not ashamed to be the crier. I don't know. Some people have like made fun of me in the past for being that way, but I would much rather have a big heart than a cold one. So yeah, I just like sat down at the beach and just like, I don't know, I just thought about the potential of what that bird's life was like, whether they had like a family unit or like what they would have been doing that morning, or, just kind of thinking about the life of a bird. I definitely had a little bit of a cry, mourned the life for a good couple minutes. sat down there and just kind of like listened to the water and took a moment to think about my little bird friend. If you're a bird person, it was a flicker. I'm not really a bird person, but my grandpa is really well versed in that, and so they're beautiful, beautiful birds, um, and like quite big too for like an everyday bird. Um, but yeah, so I just like took a moment and sat with the bird, honored it a little bit, and I felt better about it. I don't know. I just don't think putting it in the garbage and then hanging out here all week with it in the garbage would have felt very good to me. So yeah, it was a sad moment. I think like I believe that life is life. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. And I don't think that anyone's life is more important than anyone else's. Um, you can agree or disagree. It's your prerogative, but um, I think that every life deserves some honor and some respect. And, I think there's on a very large scale a lot of taking our nature and our earth and our world for granted, especially right now. And so I just, not only did I want to take a moment for the bird, but also just like we share our earth with so many different creatures, and our ecosystem relies on all those little pieces and creatures and animals. And it doesn't matter how big or how small it is, every life has an impact on our earth. So why not honor that when it comes to an end? I don't know. It just seems like that's like common sense to me. But um, as my mom said earlier in the week while we were here, common sense, unfortunately, is not as common anymore. And while that is kind of a joke, it's also not really a joke. So yeah, so the trip, it's been a really great couple of days so far. We're about halfway through our week at the lake up here. I'm at Good Spirit Lake, which is not too far from Yorkton, and it's actually not as smoky as I thought it was going to be out here. It's been pretty smoky back in Saskatoon. This would be a good test for the wind mic. The wind is picking up just slightly. I'm hoping that the audio isn't totally terrible. I'm trying really hard to keep the mic up at my face. I did run into that issue recording with my guest. I wanted the structure to feel very much like a conversation and not an interview. And so I got talking and we would like get rambling a little bit and the mic would just slowly drop. Oh, we just had a bird friend there. So some of the audio also wasn't super good. So I'm trying really hard to keep the mic up to my mouth today so you can like hear everything I'm saying, but hopefully the wind won't interfere too much. But yeah, it's we've had actually decent weather. I was thinking that it was going to be way more smoky than it is. It's not too bad. Today's a little bit worse, but I think that's also because we've got some more wind happening today. Yesterday was really calm. It was a really beautiful day. Um, but yeah, I've been quite pleased with the weather that we've ended up having. I do enjoy the heat, but in like small doses. So it's been okay that it's kind of been like this for the most part, where we've had some sun mid morning, afternoon, and gets a little chillier at night. Sit around the fire. It's really been ideal, honestly. We've had a little bit of rain too, but I don't mind that. Being like out in nature when it's raining is kind of a vibe too. So I have actually used it to my advantage. I've been really trying hard to get back into reading books. And I think I have talked about this in another episode, but I've been trying really hard to get back into reading books. And so I've been buying books at thrift stores and stuff like that and trying to find ones that like pique my interest. And new books are hard for me. I am a creature of comfort. If you have recs, would love to hear them. I'm not like no shade, but I'm not really into like the smut stuff. It doesn't really appeal to me. I do like adventure. I don't know about action, but like fantasy adventure, um, or like biography stuff. I also like obviously if I'm interested in the person, but like I do enjoy biographies too. So that's kind of my realm. It's pretty pretty slim, but I'm actually reading The Hobbit right now. I read it for the first time when I was quite young. And first I tried the Lord of the Rings books and I struggled. I struggled so much to get through those. I don't think I finished the first book, to be honest. I might have finished the first one, but not the second one. Um, it just it's long-winded. It's so long-winded, and like they travel through a field for like 4 chapters, and so I couldn't get through it. It was very slow. I like the movies a lot, and like the world and the lore and all of that stuff. I enjoy Lord of the Rings, but I struggled with the books for those. Whereas The Hobbit, it moves a lot faster. Number one, there's one book, but I don't know. There was something about the tale of The Hobbit that just I enjoyed it more. So I'm rereading it right now, and to be honest, I'm kind of shook with myself. I haven't sat down and been able to like stick it out and read a book for honestly years, like a handful of years probably is the last time that I like actually read a book. Honestly, I think it was COVID, like during the shutdown for COVID when it initially hit. I was reading lots of books at that time because like the fuck else are you gonna do? Like I had watched all my shows, I had done all the hobbies, and like so I'm gonna read some books, I guess. So that was probably the last time that I like sat down and actually finished a book. And so I'm trying really hard. My dad got me a Kobo reader, which was like a Kindle adjacent thing, like forever ago for one of my birthdays when I was a little bit younger. And so I loaded it up with a bunch of shit and I brought it out to the lake. And I was like, I'm going to read at least one book. And friends, I might read 2 books while I'm out here. I am 3/4 of the way through The Hobbit and it has been 2 days. I don't know if it's like the lake vibe or what it is, but I have been flying through. I've not been able to set it down. Yesterday, I literally went and just like laid inside when it was a little bit like more chilly in the afternoon and just read because I just didn't want to stop reading. It's a great book. Um, so yeah, I might actually surpass my original goal and read an extra book. I would love some recommendations. So yeah, I've kind of got like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. I have some like I don't know if it would be self-help or what necessarily be called, but I do have some like personal development books that I want to go through. Um, yeah, I would love some recommendations if you've got some. I'm probably going to be done The Hobbit by today, depending on how long editing takes me, but I'll most likely finish it today. So I've got a couple more days where I'll pick one off the Kobo, and then yeah, I would love some recommendations. I am going to pause here again to go check the smoker and make sure it's all working properly because I do not want to be responsible for there not being supper. So we're going to pause. I'll be right back. But I'm actually going to leave this recording this time for this pause. And maybe there'll be some wildlife sightings. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to leave it in here and we'll see when we edit. BRB. Okay, unfortunately, I feel like that wasn't a long enough break for there to be any nature, but update on the smoker. It's working great now, so that's cool. It's at temp. We love to see it. So something else that I have been working on is collecting a bunch of physical media. I have grown tired of the streaming services. I've grown tired of basically like circling back to a cable situation where you're paying a bunch of money for a bunch of different channels. I'm just frustrated, with the streaming services. I feel like you're paying so much money for them and then there's still paywalls for certain like shows or movies or whatever. And I just don't think that's right. I don't think I should have to subscribe to Prime, for example, which is, in my opinion, one of the worst ones, and then have to like add additional subscriptions to watch like basically all of the content that's on there. So I've been trying really hard to find a bunch of my like favorite stuff to watch on physical media, so like a DVD or a Blu-ray. And you know what? I've been doing pretty good. There's quite a few thrift shops in the city, and I actually, by suggestion, went and checked out a pawn shop this past weekend before I went to the lake. $55 later, I had like a stack of DVDs ready to go. And I honestly knocked off a couple that were like pretty rare that I thought I was gonna have to dig or like eBay, you know? But I am a big fan of thrifting in general. I like to upcycle things and just like give things new life. And when it comes to physical media, you can't really go wrong as long as you like take care of the discs and stuff like that. I've got a pretty good collection going right now. I think that at some point, physical media is probably going to be phased out because, you know, capitalism. They want you to subscribe to the streaming services and pay them monthly subscriptions and all of that stuff. So I think they are going to be, it's already been happening, you know. So I've kind of been preparing. Got a DVD player, PlayStation, a couple different avenues to like play DVDs on. And I've been doing pretty good. But I will say there is a couple that I, for the life of me, cannot locate, cannot find, even by searching like Facebook Marketplace and Kijiji and eBay. There's a couple on my list that I have had so much trouble finding. And this is why I went to the pawn shop. I like put out a PSA and was like, I'm looking for these DVDs. Does anyone know where I could find something like this? And a couple people recommended the pawn shop. And while I did find some kind of off the wall stuff, there's one in particular, and I'm putting this out as a PSA because I need to own this movie on physical media. And if it comes down to it and I have to pay like $100 for a DVD, I will bite that bullet and I will pay that price. But I'm going to do everything in my power to find it for less than that somewhere else. And the movie is Spice World. I put this on my story. I've talked about it before, but I don't know if it's like licensing or what the issue is. Spice World is a like mockumentary kind of about the Spice Girls, and it's phenomenal. It's iconic. There's like aliens in it at one point. Love that movie so much, and I cannot for the life of me find it anywhere. No garage sales, no thrift shops, no pawn shops, nowhere. You can't stream it, can't rent it, you can't like download it. I have found it on eBay. I think the last time I looked, it was like $84, $85, and that was coming from the US, so probably about $100. And I haven't given up enough to pay that price yet. I'm hoping I don't have to pay that price. If anyone sees or hears of Spice World on DVD, I highly doubt you'd be able to find it on Blu-ray. But if you find it on DVD, hell, you know what? Even if you find it on VHS, I do have a VHS player. That'll do. I can handle that. Immediately purchase it or send me the link to purchase it or like whatever. I will make that happen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. That's the one that I haven't been able to find. I've found so many more of the hole in the wall, like shows and movies that I liked as a kid and growing up and stuff like that. I've found so many of them, and Spice World is just the one that is completely evading me. And at this point, it's, I think, the one that I want the most. So maybe part of that is I just need to like release my desperation for finding Spice World, and then maybe the universe will give it to me. It's usually how she goes, but I don't know. There's just something in my heart that can't let go of the desperate need to watch Spice World. I have found an internet link like through Facebook that you can watch it on, but it's so sketchy. And as someone that does appreciate tech security, I've watched it one time with that link and I'm nervous to do it again. I feel like I had my one shot where I was like, okay, well, there's no consequences from doing this and watching this on a sketchy ass internet link. I feel like the internet really only gives you one of those. So I'm not going to risk that again. Um, I used to LimeWire and virus the shit out of my parents' computers. We will not be doing that any longer. So, you know, physical media, it's the new way, honestly. I'm I'm just turning back, you know. We've moved into so much of just like relying on the internet and technology and all of those things that there is actual evidence that it is rotting our brains, essentially. People are becoming so, like, academically dependent on the internet and AI and technology and all that stuff that, like, part of the reason common sense is not as common is because people aren't using their minds in the way that I believe you should be. You're not exercising your brain, you're not using critical thinking skills, you're not doing things for yourself, so you're not building any of those skills up. And I don't know, I appreciate intellect, and I don't really feel like that should come with any sort of explanation. I think using your brain is a good thing, and we all want to turn our brain off for a little bit. Like, I get that, but I think the dependency on technology in any form is just like not for me. And so I'm just trying to take as much as I can as far as like physical media and that kind of a thing so that I can separate myself from that a little bit. I would like to still enjoy the simple pleasures of the world and not be totally locked into tech and the internet all the time. Um, yeah. I have also taken upon myself to set up like a do not disturb schedule on my phone, which, to be honest, I'm loving so far. I do have a couple people that are like set up to come through anyways, just for like emergencies and stuff. But every night at 10 p.m., do not disturb comes on and it stays on until 7. And I think on the weekend I have it set 11 to 8 instead, like just like an hour shifted because I do tend to stay up a little bit later on the weekend. Honestly, it's been great. The less time I spend on my phone, the better I feel. And I definitely, like, I have dips. I'm a human being, just like everyone else. Um, so there's certain times of the month for sure where I'm a little bit like lower mentally and I kind of sink into the like doom scrolling and that kind of stuff. And that shit sucks. Like, I don't know. The more time I spend away from my phone, I do genuinely feel so much better. I'm out of my head. I'm like less judgmental. I'm less like irritable. I don't know. There's such a like echo chamber bubble mentality when you're on the internet because everything is built to essentially give you confirmation bias constantly. So whatever, you're interacting with, that's what they're going to show you more of. And so you just get like stuck in these little pockets of the internet where everyone's so angry and so like quick to judge and everyone has an opinion on everything. I just lately have really been trying to curb my internet use because I've talked about this before. For a while I was getting pretty sucked in, getting pretty angry, and I just don't want to be that person. Um, and I think that as great as social media and stuff can be for staying informed, you still have to take it upon yourself to make sure that the sources that you're getting your information from are actually legit. You can't just like read a post on Instagram and think that you know all the things about it. Facebook, TikTok, whatever it is. And so I think like if you're going to be doing that anyways, you may as well just be doing that on your own outside of social media. If you're curious about something or you want to know more about something, you want more information, you want to be more informed. If you genuinely need that, you're already taking the steps to like find your sources, make sure that they're factual, and double check any information before you're spreading it. And why just like cut out the middleman? Why even bother with social media in the first place? I don't know. So yeah, I'm getting my information elsewhere from like reliable, backed up sources, and I'm staying off social media more. I feel like I have been posting a little bit more, but the difference is, which like you wouldn't see, but instead of being on Instagram and sitting there and like posting something and then getting stuck in it and like just scrolling for a while or whatever, I literally will take a picture and be like, that's rad. Open up Instagram, post the picture, close Instagram, leave it. And I don't have notifications turned on. partly because I'm away on vacation right now and I don't want to get any like work related stuff. I'm not doing any business stuff while I'm out here. Um, but part of it also is just like, I don't care, you know? I don't need to see every notification that's coming up and like, so and so liked this, so and so liked this, so and so liked this. If I care about that, I can check at the end of the day. It's just on autopilot, and I don't like that. I don't want to go through life on autopilot. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to talk about. I just kind of wanted to pop in and spend some time with you while I'm chilling at the lake by myself. Um, this is something that I look forward to every year. My family on my mom's side, we do a week at the lake every single summer. And, sometimes some of us can't come for any of it. Some of us can only come for a day or two. Like, we do what we can with it. But there is one week every summer where we like book a spot and arrange, at least for most of us, to be here for the week and spend time together and just like be out in the wild. And so it's always a good reminder just to like enjoy life and be a human being for a while, unplug, get away from the city, and just like appreciate life and the world around me. And I always feel a lot more grounded when I'm at the lake and when I leave the lake. It's always like I leave this week with my family with an extremely full cup every year. Not sure what that was, but um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's extremely valuable to spend time out in nature and away from all of the like modern things every once in a while. Even if it's just for like a day or two. Take a little weekend walk or something like that. If you're in the city, like go walk down by the river or just out of the city feeling, not right in the suburbs or something like that. Just like go immerse yourself in nature for a little bit and just like reconnect with just like being a human. I don't know. It's nice to go back to basics and just remind yourself that like everyone is a human being and there's so many things to be grateful for and to appreciate around us. And, not to say to ignore everything that's going on in the world. I definitely don't think that's the right choice, but I think it's a good reminder every once in a while that like we are on a big floating rock in the universe and it's not that serious. And like we're all human beings. We all deserve respect and love. Yeah. We're going back to the roots. Okay. I'm definitely, I was raised for a lot of my childhood on a farm, and I was always raised to like be appreciative of nature and earth and just the world that we live in. And yeah, I feel like there's a bit of life. Everyone goes through a bit of a phase where you kind of lose a little bit of that. Other things take precedence. You prioritize other things. But for me, I think the older that I get, the more mature that I get, I just I want the basics. Everything's so complicated, which I think is the opposite of what we're going for. And I don't know, I just don't want to spend my life with my head down in a phone and be at the end of my life and look back and wish that I would have done it differently or been more present or enjoyed it more. I think that that's something you hear very common when people are nearing the end of their lives where, they're not worried about having the coolest car or the newest phone or anything like that. A lot of people talk about how they wish they would have said, I love you more, or hugged their loved ones more, or spent more time with their loved ones, or been more present, done more adventuring. Those are the things that people look back and regret. And so, if I can maybe avoid a little of that for myself, I'd be cool with that. um, I've talked about life being long, and I've talked about life being short. And both are true, depending on how you're looking at it. we have generally a lot of time to fill, lots of years, as long as you're like decently healthy. There's many factors that go into that, but life is long in the like fact that we generally have a lot of years and we have a lot of time to explore and adventure and learn and evolve. But life is short in the aspect that like we don't truly know when it's going to end. I don't know when my life's going to end. You don't know when your life's going to end. And so both are true. But I would much rather be human and experience everything that I possibly can and make mistakes and learn things and evolve and grow and just be present and appreciative of as much of life as I can be than let it pass me by because I'm too stuck in whether it's like my phone or just like worrying about stupid shit. Like, I don't know. I don't know. The older I get, the less judgmental I get. They're just like, you know what? They're just doing their thing. And it's not bothering me. It's not harming anyone. So who the hell cares? I'm going to continue living, you know? I just could not be bothered. Okay, so with that, I think we're going to wrap up. My coffee is ice cold now. So we're going to go refresh that. We're going to also do another check on the smoker, make sure that's working the way that it needs to. Hopefully, the sound and visuals and all of that will be of decent quality. I don't know about the wind. We'll see if this worked at all. I definitely want to save some thoughts that I've had just because I know that my guest episode will cover them. So I am holding back a little bit today because I do have some things that are kind of adjacent to my guest conversation, and I'd rather just share that in that episode. So that will be coming. So yeah, I'm gonna go check the smoker. I'm gonna go get a little bit better clothed for the sun now that it's warm. And we're gonna save, we're gonna edit, and we're gonna get this episode out before the end of the month so you guys can enjoy some of nature with me too. If you can't get up to the lake or you can't get out into nature and you need a little moment to slow down, I'll give you some good vibes at the end of this episode. All right, with that, I'm wrapping up for real this time. Okay. Thank you so much for being here with me today, for spending your time with me, and for slowing down for a little bit with me. If anyone knows or sees where to get Spice World on DVD, holla at your girl. That's about it. I'm just out here making friends in nature, you know. Make sure to follow, subscribe, give me a 5-star rating, like, share, all the things you got to do to get this out into the world. Share it with people that you love. I will be back in August, most likely, with this guest episode that is coming. I'm super excited to share it. There was a lot of really good content, but I think it's going to be a really good episode. I'm trying so hard not to give any spoilers. I want to hype up the episode, but I also don't want to give any spoilers. So I'm just going to leave it at that. It'll be coming out in August. I still want to keep my releases on a Monday. I think I have a bird friend trying to get on the pod right now. So I am still going to be releasing on Mondays, and there's only one more Monday in the month. So I'm going to wait for August to release the guest episode, but it will be coming your way. And this episode will be coming your way before the end of the month hits. And with that, I'm going to leave you with the peacefulness of the lake here for a moment so that you can take it a little bit, slow down, even if it's for 30 seconds. That's better than none at all. This, I think, will be episode 7 of season 2, which means that after this releases, there's only 3 more until we get to 20 episodes released. that 1% mark. I'm so fucking close and I'm so stoked. We are keeping on with the goals. We're going to make it. If you've been here since episode 1, if you've been here since 5 or 6, or this is the first episode you're listening to, thank you, because we're killing it out here. We're crushing the goals. I'm just grateful to be able to lend a space for some connection. So again, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I will be back in August with another episode. I appreciate you so much, and I hope that you enjoyed a couple minutes of silence in the sun here. I'm going to let the mic go. We're going to turn the mic off, and I'm just going to let you listen to the sound of nature. Hopefully it gives you a little moment of peace, and I will see you in the next episode. I hope that the rest of your Monday is as magic as you are.